Hello and welcome back to the Get Attention Marketing Podcast with me, your host, Ryan Speltz, and I'm glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully you get some good value out of today. One of the reasons I started this podcast, same reason I wrote my book, The Marketing Playbook. You can get a copy of it on our website, connectionmediaco.com or ryanspeltz.com for free. But if you're like me and you are in an industry where a lot of times people are intimidated by your product because it can be overwhelming, they don't understand how to be effective at it, especially mine, because marketing can be so expensive, and business owners, obviously you need to be able to take money home to put food on the table and to provide for your family. And so it's scary to spend money on marketing and then worry that you're not going to have the tools that the money that you need for your life. And so marketing is so important, though, and businesses that won't ever move into that stage where they know how to spend money on marketing and get a return for their investment, it's really challenging for them. And so today I'm going to talk to you about what the greatest need that business owners have in marketing is. And it's so challenging because the world is moving at the speed of light, and it's so fast and things are changing so quickly. But the truth is, many of the old tried and true approaches, especially in marketing, are still super valuable. And so today we're going to talk about it. We're going to dive into it a little bit and talk about some of these different things that you should be doing. So if you're a small business owner, I'm going to encourage you to follow these steps that I'm going to give you today to make sure that your marketing is on point and that you're hitting things. There's kind of an internal debate in the marketing world where there's one camp that says you should only do lead generating business, business, they call it direct response, something that gets somebody to respond back and do business with you. And then there's the other side of the marketing world, which those of us that have come from old school, we've always argued, you should do branding. Branding is super important to make sure people know who you are, they recognize your logo, they know what you do and what's important to your business. And so it's important to know that they're actually both important. They're both valuable, but it's kind of cool because LinkedIn just did a new study. I think it was a 2-year study where they studied the differences in the return on investment for businesses that did branding and lead generation versus business that only did lead generation or direct response marketing. And their results confirmed that branding is super valuable and important. So what are the things that you as a business owner need to do? What are those basics to get that branding effect, to have that better return on investment so that your lead generating efforts will turn into better, you'll get better results, you'll get money from that, your return on investment will be valuable. So it's important to do both, especially in a local market. People need to know what your brand is, who you are, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to turn the light on here because it's getting kind of dark outside. So let's dive into it. So I always talk about this. If you know me at all, you know this is something that I focus on a lot and I say you should do. So number one is you need to define your who. Defining your who is understanding who your target audience is, your ideal customer. And if you say it's anybody who, you don't know who your who is. You don't know your target audience. Your target audience are your best customers, the ones who respond the best to your offerings and are immediately drawn to you. You're not trying to convert this audience. This audience is already converted. They already know they want you. They already know they like you. They need your services, and they probably have some sort of other emotional tie to you that's above and beyond just I need plumbing, right? If you're a pro-gun person and that's super important to you and you talk about that, your anti-gun people probably aren't going to do business with you, and that's for the better. There's plenty of business out there. Find the people who relate to you on the highest levels, and those are your who, and that's who you talk to in your marketing. I tend to stay very neutral. I don't really care what someone's political affiliation is. I don't care what their things are. I do care that people are honest, that they work hard, that they do a good job. Those are things that I value, but I keep my things neutral. But if it's super important to you and it's really valuable in your life and that's something you focus on a lot, find the people who agree with you and do that. Today I was in a meeting and there was a mortgage officer who'd been in the business for a long time, and he was a retired police officer from a local town here. And he said, he's like, most of my business has been police officers for the last however many years he's been in business. And he's like, I'm trying to expand my market outside of that. It's great. I love serving my brothers in blue, but he's like, I just want to make sure I go bigger. And that's great. That's a secondary market for him. So defining your who. To do this, you can go to connectionmediaco.com and click on marketing tools, and there is an actual worksheet that we put together. You can do it digitally, or you can do it, you can print it out for free, and it'll go through a series of questions that will help you really narrow down who your who is based on their demographics, their behavior, your past customers, all of those things. Okay, so I recommend you go do that. connectionmediaco.com/marketing tools. Click on define your who, download that, and go through that exercise. Once you've done that and you defined your who, the second piece is actually coming up with the right messaging. And I like having something that is yours, that is uniquely yours. Saying we do quality work, or we have the best customer service in town. Unfortunately, that's something that's not highly unique. It's something that other people could do or talk about in their marketing. And so you want something that's highly personal to you, and specifically on your channels, and so or on your business. So one of my favorites is the company Saddleback Leather. They have a USP. They say they'll fight over it when you're dead, and then right under it they always say 100-year warranty. Right off the bat that their stuff is going to be very high quality and probably not cheap, right? They're going to fight over it when you're dead. And in fact, that bag right there is a Saddleback Leather bag, and extremely well built, very, very high quality. I love their stuff. And so that's a great USP because it captures something unique about them, that they make these powerful bags, and it makes you curious and makes you want to learn more and be interested in it. So once you've defined your who, then go define your why statement, or your USP. It's often called unique selling proposition, something very unique about you. We talk about creating connection for our company. We create connection. That's our USP, because we do more than just marketing. We help businesses connect with their clients, but we also help connect our communities together with our publications. We also help connect the government, the city governments, to their constituents, because we are their official newsletter, and we work hard to make sure we do a good job at that. So creating connection is at the core of what we do at Connection Publishing, Connection Media. So what is at your core? What is your why statement? What's the most important to you? So once you've done that, now once you know your who and you've defined your why, so you know exactly who you're talking to, and you know why, not your why for being in business. That's great. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the why someone would do business with you over one of your competitors. Your unique identifier, your differentiator, okay? Once you know your who and your why, then it's time to choose your marketing channels. As a marketing professional, I can tell you, we will take all the money that you want to spend on marketing, we will utilize it, okay? As much as you want to give us, we're going to use it all. Not necessarily for good, we love what we do, and we want to have you spend it across all the channels. And it is important to be across multiple channels. You should not just pick one thing and say, okay, I'm going to be in this magazine and that's the only marketing I'm going to do. Or I'm just going to be on Facebook. There's a huge percentage of the population that doesn't ever go on Facebook, okay? So make sure that you're picking multiple channels, and Facebook may be a great tool for you. We use Facebook in our business, and it works really well for us. So make sure that you pick multiple channels. There's so many that you want to talk to a marketing professional that understands each of them and that is willing to tell you whether it benefits them or not, what channels would be best for you. We often advise customers on things that we don't do because we know that they would be good for their business and powerful tools for them. So talk to someone who's willing to tell you and help you no matter what the channel is that you're going to be across. Should you be on social media or email, or should you do SEO or pay-per-click? Should you do advertising in a magazine like ours? Should it be video? Should you do geo-targeting, keyword targeting? All of those, there's so many things, it's so many options that it's almost overwhelming. So I always say go back to your who that you've defined. Who's that ideal customer? And then research where they spend their time. What's important to them? If you are looking at my magazines, for example, then you know that our primary target for the publications is moms and grandmas. That's who we talk to. We have recipes, we have students of the month, we have community events happening locally. We're speaking to moms and grandmas. Does that mean that only moms and grandmas read the publication? No, that's not what it means. It just means that's our primary target. So we focus on that audience the most. If that's part of your audience, the magazines might be a great place to advertise. But you should also think about where else they are. You should say, okay, is that audience also on Facebook? Are they on Pinterest? Are they on TikTok? Are they on X? Where are they spending their time? And then pick a couple of your favorites of those and use those as your tools. I spoke recently with a business owner. She is the sweetest gal, and she has a flooring company. And that flooring company, unfortunately, is she's old school. She spent a lot of time doing door-to-door sales. She has a place in my heart just because she's just an awesome lady and she does a lot of good, and she's old school like me. You know, I spent a lot of time knocking doors, if you know me personally, and doing door-to-door sales. It's a challenging but also very fascinating and fun job to have at times. So she almost exclusively is represented in print. And she came to me, we met at a networking event, and she was like, well, I want to talk about being in your magazine. She'd never been in our magazines before, and she's like, that would be great. And so when I went and met with her, and I was like, well, what are you already doing? And she pulled out a local publication, and then she pulled out another publication, and she pulled out another publication. She was represented almost entirely in print. And I said, I have to be honest with you, Tammy, I don't think you should be in my magazines. You're highly represented in print. There's a lot of other things that you can do and use your marketing dollars towards that will get you attention across multiple platforms rather than trying to be in every print publication that's available locally in her market. And she really appreciated that I was honest with her like that, but she really was spread across a lot of one channel, which was print, which is a great tool. It can work really powerfully, but she was too highly represented there. So we're working on some other things for her digitally that will help her, but you've got to pick a couple of channels and then get good at marketing on those channels. Find the ways and the strategies and techniques that will help you do the best on those particular channels, okay? Today, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise in the marketplace. It used to be you had TV, radio, and print. Now you got those same things, but you also have podcasts, and you also have digital radio, and you also have newspapers, but you also have digital newspapers, and then you have blogs, and then you have, you know, electronic billboards, and you have TV, but you also have connected TV. There's so many things, and people are not only sitting watching TV, but they're sitting watching TV and going through their phone at the same time, and maybe they have their laptop on their lap as well. They're doing work. So it's hard to make sure you capture attention, but if you know who your who is, and you know your why, and you repeat it often enough across multiple channels, you'll be able to have better success. And so cutting through the noise, here's an example of how you can do that. So the same video was posted to YouTube several years ago. One has 27 million views, while the other has 7,700 views. Not very many, okay? But the difference was the title or the hook on these videos, and they demonstrate the difference. And so the first title, LA throws 96 million shade balls at its water shortage, and it's mesmerizing. That title performed incredibly well, as opposed to 96 million black balls delivered to make LA's first floating cover. That one did not perform well. Same video, but the first example gave you an example of a title that other people would want to read. If you go back and listen to our episode on emotional trigger words, you'll find how to make sure you're using words that generate interest and curiosity and intrigue so that people will want to keep reading or keep watching or consume your information more. So that's step one. Make sure you have compelling offers. Use great imagery, great videos to make people interested. And then number two, powerful titles. You have 3 seconds to grab people's attention, so use that time wisely. Once you've developed, you know your who, you know your why, and you've developed your messaging and what you're going to talk about, now it's time to be consistent. set up deadlines, make sure you perform on those deadlines every single week, every single month, every single day, whatever it is. Make sure you perform, be consistent in your efforts to make sure people know who you are, and don't expect results right away. I started writing a blog, and I think I probably started mid this year, 2023. So let's say it was June. The first few articles that I wrote were really not very highly read. But what's interesting as time goes on, I get more and more interaction from people, and I have people who are looking forward to the next article and they look forward to my next blog. So that's over a 6-month period. You've got to give things time to start to gel and for your branding messages to really sink in. They used to say it took 7 exposures for someone to remember your brand and to know what you were talking about or what you were offering. Today, they say it's more like 25 to 30 because there's so much extra noise in the marketplace. Now, you can speed that process up by showing up across multiple platforms. So if you show up on someone's phone because they're on Facebook and they see your brand there, and then again you show up later maybe in a magazine if your target is who the readers of that magazine are, and then of course you show up again later when they Google looking for that service. That's the best way to reach people and to get them to recognize that you are an authority, you're a legitimate company, and you have something to offer them. So those are very powerful tools when you can show up in multiple places. In the industry, they call it omni-channel. I call it layered marketing. Showing up across multiple layers is crucial. And so there are lots of different ways you can advertise. You can visit connectionmediaco.com, and we have a lot of information. You can click on the Our Services tab. And as I've always tried to do from the beginning, we like to educate and make sure people know what it is we do and how it works, not just say, hey, we can help you, and then try to keep it this big mystery. So if you want to learn more about different marketing tools, you can go to the Our Services tab on connectionmediaco.com and read up as much as you'd like on the different things. And we do not offer everything, and there are things that we don't sell, marketing tools that we don't have in our arsenal. And so, but we can help guide you to who has those, and we can help you get the most out of the tools that you are using. So anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me today on the Get Attention Marketing Podcast. And I'm Ryan Speltz, your host, and thanks for listening.